Guten Tag! It's Rantz with Valkyrie again. Mwah. Again, Valkyrie's super excited, super stoked to be here today with me, talking to you about $3 theaters and how you should never, ever, ever see a children's movie at a $3 theater. Because I went and saw Earth to Echo last night with my roommate, and let me tell you, I couldn't hear half the frickin' movie because there were children screaming. Screaming and crying and crying and screaming through the entire thing. And for whatever reason, their parents didn't have the common sense to just like take them into the hallway for a few minutes. Meow, that's right, Valkyrie. Just like that. You show them how those babies were screaming. But I digress. Earth to Echo, in a word, was cute. At first, I was really enjoying Earth to Echo because it reminded me of the Goonies. It's basically just a story about a group of friends that want to try to save their hometown. The difference then became that it turned into a sci-fi movie, which I already knew because all I had seen was the billboards. So I was actually surprised when there were real people in it. I thought it was going to be like a WALL-E type movie. So it becomes a sci-fi movie. They find this alien life form out in the middle of the desert because all their phones go crazy. And they're trying to figure out why, and they find out that the little blob on their phone that they call phone barfing is actually a map. So they follow this map in the middle of the night on their bikes, just like the Goonies, to this thing that looks like a rock at first, or like some sort of like just piece of junk really. And then they find out that there's an alien inside of it, and it's trying to repair itself and trying to repair this key that it's sitting in, which is a key to his spaceship, which becomes a thing later on. The movie was filmed as though it was a documentary, and it was through the perspective of the main character, Tuck, who's this like 13-year-old kind of activist kid. Like he's filming the construction that's going on in his town. They're trying to build a freeway, and he's doing like interviews with his friends and posting them on YouTube, trying to get it all to stop. And his entire family just kind of blows him off, doesn't listen to him, doesn't realize he's like really smart and really motivated. And the fact that it was filmed that way led to really interesting camera work and camera angles. Like sometimes the camera would fall, like you wouldn't see anything for a few minutes, you would just hear them. It's been done before, like Paranormal Activity has done it, Cloverfield did it. I just felt like it worked really well in this movie in particular because of the way that it tied in with the kid's character. All of the characters are actually really well fleshed out. Really well written. The child actors were really good, which is always really refreshing to see, especially considering how much they had to work with a green screen. A few issues I had with the movie. One, it reminded me so much of the Goonies that I couldn't help but compare them, and when I did compare them, Earth to Echo just fell short for me. Although the characters were really well written and their friendship was great, it just didn't hold up to the iconic sorts of characters that they had in the Goonies. I felt like they tried to sort of emulate that friendship by creating a character that was like the fat, quirky character that they used for the main source of comedy, who they also gave a nickname to, Munch. So we have Chunk, we have Munch. A little too similar for me. What really held it back from being even to hold a candle to the Goonies, in my opinion, is the use of digital versus practical effects. And it could just be because I'm a 90s baby, but you can definitely tell the difference between a set that's been meticulously designed, like someone put a lot of hard work into physically creating this world. Not to say that digital artists don't do that, but it just feels separate, especially when half of the movie is filmed in real life and half of it is filmed on a green screen. It just created this disconnect that didn't need to be there. And I know Goonies used a little bit of green screen, but really the majority of their effects were practical. And it just felt more organic in every single way. Another issue I had with the movie is that a 13-year-old child has a GoPro. I can't have a GoPro. How does a 13-year-old kid whose parents don't give a shit about anything that he's filming and kind of make fun of him for it end up with a GoPro unless he has rich grandparents? And then later in the movie, he also puts on these glasses and clicks on them or whatever, and they start filming. So he has this hidden camera inside of his glasses, which, I'm sorry, that just wouldn't happen. Like a 13-year-old would not, at least in like a regular little middle-class family, have access to a tiny little microscopic camera that he could install into his glasses. It just no. Third issue that I had. The majority of the transportation of this film takes place on their bikes. So how in one night do they bike out into the middle of the desert, find this little alien creature, go to like 3-4 different locations that are like all across town, just destroying shit and running from people the entire time, break into a secured compound, and still make it back by dawn? All in all, the movie kept me entertained, but unfortunately it was no Goonies. I give it 6 paws out of 10, scratching post. I'll let you guys kind of interpret that one for yourselves. Coming at you from North Hollywood, I'm Valkyrie Spock. This has been Rantz with Valkyrie. Like the video if you love the Goonies, and I'll see you next time.